Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. And we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernest Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Week 7 in the NFL season is coming up this week. And there are only 13 games because there are 6 teams that are having a bye week. The Bengals, the Cowboys, the Titans, the Jets, the Panthers, and the Texans are all off this week. But there's still a lot of great matchups to preview and predict. So let's get into it. On the Thursday night prime video game, you've got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the New Orleans Saints. Now, both quarterbacks are questionable for both teams in this game. Trevor Lawrence is banged up, and he could possibly miss the first game of his NFL career. And Derek Carr, he's been banged up all season for the Saints, and he's also questionable for this game again. But I do think that both quarterbacks will play. That's what all signs are pointing to. So I'm going to act like they both are. I feel like that the Jacksonville Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence are a bit better of a football team than the New Orleans Saints. The Saints have a better defense, but Derek Carr, he's been up and down all season. I just think that Jacksonville is a bit more consistent overall. It will be tough for them to win on the road, but I'll go with Jacksonville to beat New Orleans 24-21 on Thursday Night Football. Now to move on to the Sunday afternoon games. We don't have a London matchup this week. Those are done. We will have a couple of games in Germany in November, which will be awesome as well. But for this week in the NFL, we don't have that Sunday morning matchup. But the Las Vegas Raiders and the Chicago Bears kick off the Sunday afternoon games. The Raiders are 3-3. The Bears are 1-5. And Justin Fields is doubtful for this game. That is not a good sign for the Bears. They do have their quarterback Tyson Bagent, who is the backup that did play last week when Fields went down with an injury, but he threw a couple picks. The Bears offense was already struggling, but without Fields, it's probably going to get a whole lot worse. Jimmy Garoppolo is questionable for this game, but it's possible that he will play. I think that the Raiders are a better team than the Chicago Bears, especially if Justin Fields can't play. I'll go with the Raiders to beat the Bears 28-17 for the Raiders to move to above 500. Then you had the Cleveland Browns traveling to the Indianapolis Colts. A common theme with a lot of teams is that there's a lot of injuries. Anthony Richardson looks to be out for the season for the Colts. That is a tough loss. You do have Gardner Minshew as the backup quarterback. He is capable, but he is a bit turnover prone. Deshaun Watson's questionable for the Browns, but PJ Walker, he didn't play the best game last week for the Browns, but somehow they were able to beat the San Francisco 49ers. I have no idea how they were able to get that done, but the 49ers had a couple of injuries of their own, but Cleveland was able to win. The Browns, I just think that they're going to be able to carry this over to another win because the Colts are struggling the last couple of weeks. Gardner Minshew's been very turnover prone, and if Deshaun Watson does play, that might be enough for the Browns. I'll go with Cleveland to beat Indianapolis 17-14. Then you have the Buffalo Bills traveling to the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 1-5 and playing like one of the worst NFL teams. It doesn't matter if Mac Jones is playing or if it's Bailey Zappi. The Patriots offense just can't get going. But for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen is questionable, but he should play. Damian Harris, unfortunately, the running back for the Bills, had to go to the hospital because he got banged up on the field last week, but it looks like he is okay, but he probably will not play in this game. But since the Patriots are playing so poorly, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to win 24-10. Then you got the Washington Commanders traveling to the New York Giants. The Giants are 1-5. Daniel Jones, he could play in this game. He is questionable, but I do think that he will suit up. For the Commanders, Sam Howell's been playing fairly good football. They are 3-3 on the season, and they've been more consistent than the Giants for the most part. So I'll go with the Washington Commanders to beat the New York Giants 28-17 for the Commanders to move to above 500. Then you have the Atlanta Falcons traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a battle in the NFC South. The Bucs do have an injury to Baker Mayfield going on. He's questionable for this game, but like with all the other quarterbacks that are questionable, I do think that it's likely that he could play. Usually when a quarterback's doubtful, that's when they don't. When they're questionable, it's more likely that they will. But even if Baker Mayfield can't play, the Atlanta Falcons have been struggling on offense. I know Desmond Ridder has been playing a bit better the last couple weeks. He has gotten a rushing touchdown or two in there, and Bijan Robinson's a really good running back. And Atlanta's defense isn't awful, but it's at Tampa Bay. I'm going to go with the Bucs to beat the Falcons 21-17. And then for the final game in the 1 o'clock window on Sunday in the NFL, you got the Detroit Lions traveling to the Baltimore Ravens. This has the potential to be a fantastic game. Lamar Jackson's been playing better the last couple weeks, and the Ravens do still have a stingy defense, whereas Detroit, Jahmyr Gibbs looks like he's going to be returning. Now, David Montgomery, he probably won't be able to play, but I still think that Jahmyr Gibbs will be enough for Detroit to have a good ground game. Jared Goff's playing well, and the wide receiving core and the defense for Detroit is also solid. I like the Lions all around. They're 5-1 this season, and I think they're going to move to 6-1 because Dan Campbell Campbell really has them playing great football. I'll go with the Lions to win a tough road game at the Baltimore Ravens, 27-21. Now to move on to the 4 o'clock games, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the Los Angeles Rams. Running back Kyron Williams is out for the Rams. That's a tough loss. Pat Freiermuth for the Pittsburgh Steelers will play. But the key for the Rams is they have Puka Nacua, they've got Cooper Kupp back, and they've got Matthew Stafford playing well, whereas Kenny Pickett has been inconsistent for the Steelers. I think that the Rams are going to move to above 500 because they're 3-3 currently with a 21-17 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then you got the Arizona Cardinals traveling to the Seattle Seahawks. James Conner, the running back for the Cardinals, is out. That's not going to help out their cause. Their only win is over the Dallas Cowboys in a game that could be chalked up as a fluke for how bad the Cowboys played in that game. Joshua Dobbs is trying to fill in for Kyler Murray, but it just hasn't been super successful. Whereas Seattle, they've got a plethora of offensive options, which really helps out Geno Smith be able to play better on offense, getting the ball to DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and you've got Kenneth Walker on the ground. Seattle's defense is pretty stingy, and the fact that they are at home and that crowd's going to be awesome for the Seahawks. I'm going to go with Seattle to beat the Cardinals 31-14. Then you got the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are 1-5. They're really struggling. Russell Wilson cannot get anything going on offense. Their defense has been abysmal this season as well, whereas Green Bay, they haven't been perfect. They're 2-3, and Jordan Love is looking like he's regressing a bit. He's not playing as well as he was at the beginning of the season, but I don't trust Denver, and I do think that their defense is bad enough to make Jordan Love play better. I'm going to go with Green Bay to beat Denver 24-14 for Green Bay to move back to 500. Then you've got the Los Angeles Chargers, who really need a win. They're at 2-3, traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 5-1. Both of these teams are healthy, and the Kansas City Chiefs have been playing great football this season. Travis Kelce is still playing like one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is putting up great stats. He has thrown a few uncharacteristic picks this season, but still, for the most part, he's playing well. Their defense has been getting the job done. Justin Herbert's trying, but Austin Eckler, even though he returned for the Chargers game last week, he did not get a lot of yards on the ground. Still looked a bit rusty. We'll have to see if he's able to get more rushing yards in this game. I think the Chargers can put up a fight in this game, but I do think Kansas City's offense is going to be too much for the Chargers defense. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to move to 6-1 and beat the Los Angeles Chargers 35-21. Then for the Sunday night football game, we've got a potential thriller with the 5-1 Miami Dolphins traveling to the 5-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I have no idea what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles last week, though, losing to the New York Jets. Granted, the Jets have been playing better, and it was on the road, but still, that was a bad loss for the Eagles after they had started out really well at 5-0. Miami, they had the one bad game against the Buffalo Bills, but besides that, they've been playing really well. They blew out the Carolina Panthers last week. Devon Achane is out for Miami. That's tough on the ground, but they still have Raheem Mostert. He's been lighting it up, and the fact that you've got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill playing at an all-NFL level, and the fact that Tua Tagovailoa is playing great football, but traveling to the Philadelphia Eagles will be tough. It's a great home crowd for the Eagles. It's at night. Jalen Hurts didn't play that well last week, throwing 3 interceptions against the Jets, but I think he's going to clean that up. And the Eagles do have a really good defense, which I think should be able to slow down the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be tough for the Eagles, but I will go with Philadelphia to beat Miami on their own field, 31-28 for the Eagles to move to 6-1 and for the Dolphins to fall to 5-2 on Sunday Night Football. Then to move on to Monday Night Football, we've got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to the Minnesota Vikings. Like with Philadelphia, I don't know what in the world happened with the San Francisco 49ers losing at the Cleveland Browns last week to P.J. Walker at quarterback. That's insane. But Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel got banged up. That contributed to the loss. I do think Deebo Samuel's likely to play, whereas Christian McCaffrey, he's more questionable. But Minnesota, a lot of people talk about Kirk Cousins' primetime record and that he has struggled in these big Sunday night and Monday night and even Thursday night football games. His record has not been great in those type of games. I think that Justin Jefferson injury as well is really going to hinder the Minnesota Vikings from being able to have a really good offensive performance in this game. It's already tough playing against the San Francisco defense, but Minnesota not having their top wideout for Kirk Cousins to throw to is going to be really tough. It will be interesting to see if San Francisco can bounce back from that bad loss last week to the Browns, and it is on the road, but I think Brock Purdy will play better, and he still has a lot of offensive weapons. Even if McCaffrey can't play, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Minnesota Vikings 31-17 for the Niners to move to 6-1 and for the Vikings to fall to 2-5. Now, those are the Week 7 games in the NFL. Like I said, only 13 games, but still some really good matchups. Possibly the headliner is the Miami Dolphins against the Philadelphia Eagles game, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about all the Week 7 games in the NFL, which game you're looking forward to the most, and what you think about my picks for every single Week 7 NFL game. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.